conversation with Steve Andrews right here on 96.3 Nation FM. This is where good music lives. My name is Mariam Bishar.
Most bankable host, Brian Aseli. And of course, earlier on, I just wanted to ask a question. And how you got into wellness is something that we also like to know. But of course, why is it important to you and why is it important to every other regular human being?
Well, well-being. We tend to do everything else and don't really focus on well-being, and it's such a powerful tool. And we were in a discussion last night, and I was saying to the ladies that we pay attention to everything else. We pay more attention to our car. We pay attention to our home. We pay attention to everything else, and we totally ignore our body. I mean, you can replace a car. There are people who can buy 10 cars. They can buy 10 homes. But you cannot replace any parts on your body. Is a fact. From the time it's gone, it never get back to the state where it needs to be. So we really have to pay attention to our body. Our body is very loyal to us, right? But it goes and goes until it gets to a point where it becomes enough is enough. And when it start rebelling, it's like a spoiled teenager. It really rebels. So my conversation with everyone is how do we spend time, and basically the things you can do to really take care of your body. Rest is important. A lot of people say, oh, I don't need to sleep. And why you don't need to sleep? Sleep is so important aspect of what we do.
And Mariam, I told you, we're really gifted in that front.
Yeah, we are.
If there are people who really know how to squeeze in a good nap in between the schedule, I believe that we are one of those people who definitely would jump into that. But continue.
No, because sleep 8 hours. You know, most people, you need 8 hours of sleep.
Yes.
And we don't understand why. Because the body takes 8 to 12 hours to fully recycle itself daily. Because everything you do in that day affects the body. So when that body get into that deep sleep, that's when it is repairing itself. That's when it's cleansing itself. So sleep is so important in terms of repairing your body. So that 8 hours is critical. If the body don't get that 8 hours, that's where all the stress builds up. That's where all the toxin builds up in the body because it's really not cleansing itself. So that's one of the most important things, sleep. Drinking water, basic things, finding time for oneself. We talk about mental health, but it's so important where you can find. Kenya is so much vast, beautiful landscape. Find places that you can go and spend time with oneself to really reflect on the mind or empty the mind, basically, to help. Because all of those things, the brain cells burn up fast. They do burn up fast, and sometimes they get to a point where they burn out. And when they burn out, it's almost impossible to get them started again. So these are things that we have to pay attention to. It's not that we should, we have to. Because I will say, if it don't affect you now, in the golden age, you will have all of these issues. And then you can say, why me? But why not you? You did not pay attention when you should.
Right? You could have done something preventative. I know there's also sometimes this idea that like wellness is expensive. You know, people are like, oh no, I can't afford to go to the spa every week, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. What do you tell people as far as, you know, simple, basic wellness practices that they can, you know, aside from like what you've mentioned about sleep and water and things like that, that they can do daily to just keep the body and the mind in check?
Well, basic things, exercise is one of those things. Long walks you can do. What we try to do is to train self-massage, how you spend time working on your tight areas as well to help to get rid of some of those built up within the body. We call them stress. But all of those basic little things, how you eat is very important as well. What are the things you put in your body? And wellness isn't just that way, but also your mind, the conversation you're having, what you watch on television, the people, all of those have to do with well-being. So well-being is just that one aspect. It's your entire life and how you can pull it together and really make it. And you'll find the people that actually do some of these things do have better life. You're not necessarily going to live longer, but you live more healthier, basically.
Yeah, we're getting into the music, but I love that you've given us this perspective that, you know what, it's also what you're consuming that, you know, affects your mind, affects your body as well. Because sometimes you could be working out, eating healthy, but then you drink 7 days a week. And it's like, okay, you know, or you're watching absolute nonsense, which sometimes, there's a bit of room. But we've got Kabza Dismal with Blow My Mind coming your way. Of course, we'll be back in conversation with Steve Andrews around wellness and even trauma, physical and mental, and how to deal with that.